Hey, tea sippers! Let's clock that reality. Child, is this mic on? Welcome to another episode of Clock the Reality. This is your host, Mark Midwestern, honey. And yes, ma'am, we're going to dive right in, starting with the tea that's piping hot out of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. We know that Mary Cosby is not filming with the girlies right now, but is she going to return to filming? Take a listen.
So it's been a while since we talked about the heartbreaking news that Real Housewives of Salt Lake City star Mary Cosby's son, Robert Cosby Jr., passed away at the age of 23 years old. What we found out is that he had his funeral over the weekend. According to TMZ, it was not filmed. They write this: Mary Cosby's son, Robert Cosby Jr., was laid to rest over the weekend following his sudden death, but the cameras were not rolling. Sources connected to the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City tell TMZ the funeral services held over the weekend in Utah were not filmed for the show's upcoming season 7. We're told several producers from the series attended the service to pay their respects, though. The support from the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City family was strong. Lisa Barlow, Meredith Marks, Heather Gay, Whitney Rose, Bronwyn Newport, Angie Kay, Brittany Bateman all showed up for Mary during this difficult time. Andy Cohen confirmed on Sirius XM Monday the funeral services were held on Saturday and noted in addition to the cast, there were also some notable Bravo lebs, including Kyle Richards, Cynthia Bailey, and Sheree Whitfield attended as well. And he called them real ones. As you know, previously reported Robert Jr. died on February 23rd. His cause of death remains under investigation, though police responded to a possible overdose. Although they did not film this, I'm sure this is still going to be a huge topic for Mary to talk about during this next season of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. According to reports, she has not been filming. However, she does plan to film.
First and foremost, Mary, I'm giving you my condolences for losing Robert Jr. This is such a intense loss. It's shaking the Bravo world, but most importantly, Mary, I hope you're doing okay. I hope your family's good. I miss everybody just trying to do all the things to defame your character. You're going through a lot. I'm glad you've been staying strong through that of it all and people talking about your church. And now you're dealing with this loss of your son. People need to pipe down. And hopefully this is a lesson to all you Bravo fans and people who don't even watch Bravo that had the audacity to come for Mary Cosby without even watching the show from season 1. She's grieving her son. And addiction is something that plagues a lot of families around the world. And I hope that this is something that everybody can take away from in terms of learning about addiction and how it impacts families. But most importantly, send Mary some love, y'all. This is so hard. He was only 23 years old. A young black man living in Utah, with the limited access to representation other than his church, his parents, and maybe the few others that they knew. It's just devastating. And I'm glad that some other Bravo celebrities showed up to the funeral along with Andy and that they're all wrapping their arms around her in this moment. Because, people can be catty and show you who they are during times like this. And, I will be calling the girls out if they come for Mary. So, Mary, I'm sending all my love to you and your family. And, girl, take as long as you need to grieve this. This is such a tragedy, such a loss. And just know that this moment, although it be sad, just know that you have fans all over that are rooting for you. Okay, shifting gears, I want to talk about The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, which premieres this week. So I don't have any tea to spill yet about it, but we know that all the girlies are back with the exception of Miss Demi. Yes, Miss Controversial Demi, who became very controversial throughout the show, especially with her opinionated opinions, and no filter and checking the girls left and right, child. But the girls have had enough. And this is what they said in an interview, Sit Down with E.
We had a full interview, and I asked her about the status of her relationship with you. Yeah. And I would love for you to watch this quick clip to get your reaction.
They're scared. We have thoughts. I was like, we've seen it, and we have thoughts.
Do you think there's a world where you can make amends, or on your part, are you donezo?
On my end, 100%. Yes.
Make amends.
Yes, absolutely. I would be putting my foot in my mouth if I said otherwise. I've watched it happen with Whitney.
I've seen Whitney and Michaela. If Whitney and Michaela can become friends again,
There's
I'm
hope for
sorry.
Demi and
There
Jesse.
is hope for Demi and Jesse. And she's going to throw up and hate that I'm saying this. But truthfully, it's like, at the end of the day, we're not that far off. Like, you're never that far off. You're just kind of missing each other. And I feel like there is a world where we could sit down and hash things out and mend things.
Yeah.
At least on my end. There has to be a willingness on the other end.
Totally.
But yeah, the willingness is on my side for sure.
I think it's easy for her to say that because she didn't get screwed over the way I did. She did more to me than I did to her.
Yeah.
So for her, it's easy to be like, oh my gosh, yeah, totally. So for
Like
me,
this-
it's done.
I think we talked about like the situation with Whitney is so different. Like it's not like Whitney was trying to out my affair and ruin my life and get more money. Well, maybe she's trying to get more money, but not at my expense. So I'm like completely different situations. Like it's way easier to get over that than someone who was actively trying to ruin your life.
Yeah.
Child, let's keep it a buck. Demi said, I'm sick of these hoes. Demi is saying she is sick of these hoes. She's sick of these girls. She's not liking how they're making her feel or her man feel. Although they're very iffy. Demi and her man are very iffy, child. Yeah, you know, she's married to Angie K's ex, right? From the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Angie K was a friend at one point. But anyway, I believe that, like, we will see how this goes. I'm not really vibing the fact that she's not on the show because I think we're missing storylines and answers here. But there's also this weird contentious thing about the reunion and how that all went down. And just kind of like the conversations the girls were having. And it seems very surface, but Michaela's right. The situation is a little bit different. So I hope they unfold this when the show premieres later this week. I have so much tea to clock on to, child. Especially in regards to what's happening with Miss Taylor going over here on The Bachelorette. We just had 2 of the girlies on Dance with the Stars, so we're going to get all that behind the scenes tea. And I'll be here watching along with y'all. So we'll be getting right into it. And speaking of getting right into it, we all know that The Real Housewives of Atlanta is still premiering on April 5th, but obviously there's some tea that we need to get into before the premiere. We know that Portia is going strong with her new girl, honey. Yes, ma'am. Her new wife-to-be is what it looks like to me. And I hope this lasts as long for Portia because she has had her mishaps with love that we see play out on The Real Housewives of Atlanta and off camera. And child, they of course missed the entire fling of hers being with Simon and how that turned out when he became a fraud, honey. But most importantly, Portia, live your best life. Welcome to the team, baby. Welcome to the LGBTQ team. Because I remember Portia used to go and stand at that pew in her church and preach the most homophobic stuff ever, baby. I'm glad that those days are done and that we live and we learn. She wasn't the only one in the black church that was talking that shit, but usually it's the ones that are most vocal about it that end up, you know, being a part of the Rainbow Club, honey. But speaking of the Rainbow Club, you know, they released the taglines for the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And my girl K. Michelle looked fab, per usual. And I'm going to need the fans to stop saying that she's holding an apple, baby. Does it look like she lives in New York? Or does it look like she's the queen of Atlanta? Because that's what it looks like to me. And I want to say that whoever's in production, whatever queens are down in Atlanta spilling tea and leaking stuff, y'all need to stop. Because there's some stuff that we just want to wait and see. That's the excitement of it all. It's not fun when y'all leak stuff. Y'all have done fine all year not leaking any of the drama from the Real Housewives of Atlanta, excuse me. But I also think the production did a good job by keeping things kind of secluded from other eyes, baby. Because we want to be shocked and bamboozled. That's how I want to feel. Just like how they rolled out the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. They're doing similar with Beverly Hills. There's all the stuff that we find out when the show premieres, which is kind of like reading a book, child. Like, I just want to, like, every page I turn, be like, oh, okay. Ooh, all of that. So, I'm excited for the Real Housewives of Atlanta, but most importantly, I'm excited to see my girl, K. Michelle. She's the queen. Okay. And Pinky Cole is setting herself up, too, because, child, she just released this video about this bankruptcy thing. And yeah, that's right. So apparently she filed for bankruptcy. And Pinky Cole was letting all the fans know that that's nothing that y'all really need to worry about. Take a listen to this video.
Hi, friends. Today we're going to learn about bankruptcy. Can you say bankruptcy? Good job. Bankruptcy, let's learn the code. 7, liquidate and roll. 11, you reorganize. 13, pay it back slow. Now watch me. File that bankruptcy. File that bankruptcy. File that bankruptcy. File that bankruptcy. Cities can file Chapter 9, 15 businesses worldwide. 12, it helps out farmers if that crop gets really dry. Now watch me file that bankruptcy. File that bankruptcy. File that bankruptcy. File that bankruptcy. Bankruptcy up in this. Oh, watch you file and watch Bill stop. Super freeze that. Oh, trustee turn into RoboCop. Filing Chapter 7 means you liquidate that business, man. When you sell those assets, then you turn around and close that thing. Now you, if you're filing Chapter 13, you get some years to pay back debt. That plan goes through a trustee. If you file 11, then you're making money every day, protecting all your assets, man. That court approves a plan to pay. Bankruptcy, let's learn the code. 7, liquidate and roll. 11, you reorganize. 13, pay back.
Pinky, I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you? Why did Pinky Cole just file for bankruptcy ahead of Atlanta's official press run? And I feel like we literally just got the Real Housewives of Atlanta trailer. We just got introduced to K. Michelle and Pinky Cole. So like news like this makes it really hard to enjoy the fantasy. So it really doesn't surprise me that the girls are eating Pinky up right now, because if you watch the trailer, she came for Angela, treating her like some random brokey, even though Angela is the fan favorite right now. Talking about how she could have brought some of Angela's foreclosed houses.
I should have bought your foreclosed houses. Okay, Mr. Clean, don't do it Papa's first.
Pinky does seem like she's able to laugh at herself.
That was the icon, binge-worthy Henny. The one that's spilling the tea on Real Housewives of Atlanta for the past, I would say, 3 years I've been following him, and he's been tea. So, but let's get into this. So, girl, I like the fact that Pinky Cole was able to poke fun at herself. You know what I mean? It's a breath of fresh air versus her, like, hiding behind cameras and being fake about the whole thing and being like, I'm better than thou. Nah. She threw in those overalls. Like, she was the lady. What's the lady who does the little cartoons or whatever? It's the little lady with the pink shirt. What's her name? Miss Rachel. She pulled a Miss Rachel on her ass. And then she was rapping this song and kiki kiki boom boom boom. Okay. I'm here for it. Let's hope it's not fake. Because I don't need any fake girls in the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Because if we're going to do that, then we need to go ahead and sweep on Miss Kim Zolciak. There's no reason why she can't be on a show then. Because I want to see authenticity. And if this is a part of her storyline, I like that she's bringing a human perspective to it. Because I want to see that. I want to know how you get out of that. But I also want to know, you know, maybe a lot of people aren't aware of how bankruptcy works. So I think I want to know from her, like, girl, can you give the rest of the girls business advice? Because some of the girls are going to need it. Because I haven't seen Drop It by Drew. Speaking of Drop It by Drew, I think we need to catch up with the girl. Because you know I love me some Drew Sidora. Drew Sidora is from Chicago. That's where my family is from. But most importantly, I love the fresh air that she brought to the show. Now, Drew sat down with the We Sound Crazy podcast. And she didn't sound crazy at all. But some of the girlies questioning her, they sound a little crazy. Take a listen.
Some Delulus.
Hey Drew, so we recently saw you onto Instagram outside of Kelly Farrell's Chicken and Waffle spot, right?
Oh,
Your Real Housewives of Atlanta co-star. And it kind of stirred up a bunch of drama, okay? Because we know the restaurant is not open. So listen, my question is, do you feel as though the Housewives drama overshadows your music career, right? Because we know you're back in the studio with Dennis. Shout out to y'all. Or do you feel like the promotion is worth it? Let us know.
Good question. I would say no. Housewives, I think it gives a great platform.
Amplifies it.
Yeah, it amplifies it. You know, the album charted number 5 on iTunes. I think it went as close to number 3. So I think if you use the platform correctly, and I think for me, I've just been able to show up as me. So it's never been to sell anything. It's just like, okay, the cameras catch me where I'm at, and I'm working on an album now. And I think that my story was in the music, and so people just connected and it resonated in that way. So it only helped.
That's a good question, because I don't think people really understand how to use it as a vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think there's always usually out there cutting up, but I'm like, no, but it's also a plan to the great music that follows. So
first off, shout out to Drew Sidora. Love her. I've also been watching her since The Game and all these shows that she's been on. And obviously, we all remember her in the TLC biopic movie. She played T-Boz, but that's neither here nor there. Y'all need to keep up. I will say, there is nothing wrong with whatever that weird-ass question that Aaron asked her from House of Aaron. Clocked. I think Drew knows what she's doing. You are supposed to use the platform to help promote things. We know Dr. Heavenly is very obnoxious on Married to Medicine, but it just helps her businesses. I think it's a two-way street. You can pull a Phaedra and be unsuccessful and do something horrible with the platform and accuse somebody of sexual assault, or you can just play into the cute little drama and do what you need to do as a housewife to get that money ran up. And that's what Drew is doing. And one thing I will say about Drew, and I don't really give her enough credit, but now it's time to give Drew her flowers. Drew has been holding it down through a lot of the changes of the Real Housewives of Atlantis. And in my opinion, she's been through the very end of one iteration, into another iteration, and into another iteration, child. Because you can't tell me that she had to go through Marlo Hampton, baby, and now she had to deal with a little bit more slight work from no other girls. We not going to keep doing too much of this when it comes to Drew. I think she pulled up because she was hungry. Don't y'all? She wanted a little snack. Maybe, you know, a full breakfast, home style with home style fries, bacon very crispy, very that, and there's just nowhere to sit down. In fact, there was a lock on the door, baby. So, I want to hear more about this drama. And Miss Kelly, tread lightly, okay? Not with my girl. Since we're talking about Married to Medicine, it's only fair that we hop right into the drama. Now, this season is still giving me absolutely nothing. You know, it's not really giving me anything. I watch with my husband and we're very disappointed. But that's neither here nor there. Because I do want to talk about Mimi, how she's starting to open up to the girls. I do think she's having a very good first season, but only she's delivering with Toya. That's it. Anyway, take a listen. This is something that a lot of people can probably relate to.
3-4 years in Steve and I's marriage, I could say, yes, he had his issues, for sure. But I had mine. Sometimes I can get caught in my own world, do my own thing. But also, one of the biggest challenges in our life, raising Stevie. Stevie has moderate autism. He was diagnosed at 18 months. And just even being a psychiatrist, I didn't know a lot about it. And so when we finally got him tested and we got the diagnosis, you know, that was a part of grief. Yeah. Grieving the expectations that you have for your child. And so the biggest thing that I do struggle with is like his safety as he grows up as a black boy. With special needs, what does that look like? Yeah. And how can I, as a mother, protect him from people who just may not understand it?
First off, shout out to Dr. Mimi for even wanting to talk about this subject on the show and bring people into her life in regards to her son being autistic and what that looks like in terms of working with the spouse and with other people who are involved, like his team and all these doctors who are prescribing medications and watching him every step of the way. I want to talk about the fact that these ladies look like they were genuinely connecting with her on this. And as somebody who is neurodivergent and someone who wasn't properly diagnosed, who should have been diagnosed as a kid, I found out later in life that I was extremely ADHD and autistic. But it's one of those situations where, you know, if I had the lack of resources, I can bet, you know, with the resources being more available now, I can still bet that there's still a lot of stigma, but also there's a lot of negativity amongst people who don't have the education on it, who are probably trying to clock in and check her and try to act like he's messing up or he should be meeting milestones. I'm not a parent or anything, Mimi, but, you know, obviously, girl, just the fact that you're speaking on this shows me that you are a phenomenal mother, okay? Because I feel like when it comes to navigating diagnoses and when it comes to, you know, going through the whole journey of trying to figure out where the resources are, you can bet your bottom dollar that as a parent, you will do what's right for you and your family and your son and your kid. And I think the safety worries are important. Obviously, he's a black kid in America, and being black, sometimes people already put negative notions on us anyway, but imagine adding that neurodivergence, that the autism spectrum into the mix of things. It gets people, you know, very, very confused if they haven't experienced anybody with that diagnosis or they don't know what communication looks like with us. So shout out to you, Dr. Mimi, and, you know, I'll be following your journey and keep leaning into the girls. Hopefully some of them can give you a little bit more grace in regards to this, because you are a younger mother. From what I'm seeing, your kids are younger too. So there's a lot that you are still navigating and hopefully learning with your husband. And thank you for bringing a good addition to Married to Medicine, because this season is dry as hell. Dry boots down the house. And I will say it's time for a recast. I will say it every single time because I bring it to y'all fresh. But most importantly, go ahead and keep Dr. Mimi. Go ahead and keep Toya. And please, please, please keep Brandy. I love her. She's a breath of fresh air. I love her energy. I like the other new girl too, but what is she really giving? And the rest of the girls, you go ahead and pack them up. I'm still not seeing anything I need to see. I still think Atlanta has a lot of black, beautiful doctors. I think Dr. Jackie could get a spinoff child and show up on other shows. I think it's time for a wrap. I think it's time for a rebrand. And I think it's time for y'all to start competing again with the Real Housewives of Atlanta and Potomac. It's time to compete again, baby. And that competition starts by getting fresh cast members on the show. Okay? Well, let's keep that Reali-Tea going. There's a lot happening in the city of Potomac, but most importantly, we know that Eddie and Wendy Osefos they had the day in court, excuse me. Go ahead and listen to a few updates that I just got recently. This is gonna pretty much get you to ask a few questions about what the hell is going on here. Take a listen.
Hey y'all, this is WeGo Podcast, aka your favorite court reporter, Teresa Faison, reporting for duty. So some of y'all may have seen my tweets. I am live in front of the Carroll County Courthouse where Wendy and Eddie just left the court. No black SUV today, guys. Normally they've been stunting in the black SUV. Today they drove. I will tell you, they were looking extremely good as always. They were runway ready. So first off, when it first started, basically, last time they wanted to be tried together. So originally they were going to be tried together. Then they were going to be tried separate. Then they filed a motion to be tried together. Well, now it looks like they will definitely be tried separately. There is a lot of discovery that has come out for Eddie's case. So Eddie has waived his, I believe it's called the Hicks right, where with the Hicks right, you are entitled to a speedy trial within 180 days of the date you have been charged. He has waived that because he wants a chance to go through the extensive discovery. Normally his trial would have been April 15th of 2026, but now it's going to be far beyond that. His next status hearing is May 20th, I believe, of 2026. Wendy, y'all, this is what surprised me. Wendy's lawyers, Wendy did not waive her right to the Hicks, the speedy trial. She wanted it. As a matter of fact, the prosecution and the defense were literally on their computers trying to come up with dates for for March, for Wendy to have her trial in March. That tells me one of them, Eddie, maybe possibly taking the fall. For him to want his trial to kind of be pushed all the way out. And sorry, y'all, school is out, so the school bus is coming down the road. I hope you can hear me.
Listen, I don't know what's going on. I don't know who's doing what deal this, trial separately this, legal that. Do what y'all gotta do. Only thing I need to say is somebody better take the fall, baby. Somebody better take a plea deal or something. Because this is not giving what it needs to give. If someone's taking a fall, go ahead and take the fall. Go ahead and do what you got to do. Because right now it's giving admission without guilt. Right now it's giving, okay, there's some wrongdoing. Right now it's giving, it wasn't me, it was him. Or it wasn't her, it was me. It's giving pointing fingers. And as a viewer, okie dokie. Whatever y'all say, child. But I will say that this is a scary situation for the Osefos and their entire family. And a lot of people are like poking fun at it with the names and like how there's aliases apparently and how there's packages with names on them that Wendy claims is what the aliases names were used for instead of credit cards, which was showing up in reports for the past 4 months or so since they were arrested. Child, I don't know what's going on. I just know I don't need any more Potomac people to get arrested or go to jail. If you gotta be on house arrest, be on house arrest. But this kind of crime is giving jail time might happen, given the severity of both of them being in the mix of all this. And here's the thing. If there's something that you did wrong, cop to it. If you got the money, give it back. I don't even know how that all works. Legally, I don't think you could just run people's money back. I think you have to go through a process, especially if you did some fraudulent shit. And I think in this case, obviously the family's going to be impacted. We saw Wendy's storyline. She really, really gave this past season on season 10 of Potomac too. So it's interesting to see how this kind of all spiraled into this. But I will say, if any of the ladies are giving her problems right now, or like being kind of rough with her around the edges, or not being cutesy, boom, 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 Karen Huger of it all, you need to start paying these girls dust. Also, I don't know what it means for a housewife to continue being on the show if they're in the middle of these trials or whatever, but we've seen a few housewives do it in the past. Obviously, Teresa had to flip-flop her years in the show with her husband, her ex-husband, because they were both in the middle of some fraudulent shit as well. And we all know what happened with Jen Shaw when she was stealing all those money from those old peoples and scamming them and stuff. So, she's out of jail, But I don't know. I feel like other housewives have been arrested. Portia, Luann, the list goes on. Marlo, Nene, everybody has a pass. Everybody has a legal pass. I don't know if people have a fraudulent pass or a pass to rack it up, but I will say, as black people, we gotta lift each other up, and I'm glad that there are some people who are standing behind Wendy right now. I support Wendy, and I hope that this all works out for her. But girl, at the end of the day, if you gotta be tried separately, and if it's not you, it's him, go ahead and point that finger, baby. Do what you have to do. Do what you have to do. You have kids. You have kids, and Karens and all the white people will be doing the same thing if they're in this situation. Now, I will say, as much as I stand Wendy, I'm not going to excuse if there is any wrongdoing here at all. And obviously, they're not going to admit to anything because everything is pretty much, they're under a microscope right now. Like, everybody's paying attention to what they're saying, what they're wearing, what they're driving. You can see the reporter from the podcast, from the We Go podcast, talking about all the things that she got the tea on because she was in the courtroom. That was the video that we just watched. But y'all, let's just pay more attention to this. I hope that things work out for her. I really hope that nothing happens bad where she can't see her kids for a long period of time, because that would be something that's just tragic and not cute. But you know, this is reality TV, so we will be following and paying attention, boo. Alright, tea sippers, last but not least, let's talk about the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Yes, so for the past year and a half, there has been a lot of rumors and speculation of whether or not Bravo was going to bring back the Real Housewives of New Jersey, if there was going to be some changing in casting, and what was happening. But now what we know is, from over the Christmas time break in 2025, Teresa and Melissa and their families got together, so there has been some reconciliation between the both of them. But we're also starting to hear rumors about who potentially will not be coming back. Some of the rumors they're saying is that Jennifer Aydin is completely out, along with her husband Bill. They were a staple to the show for the past, I would say, maybe 7 seasons or so, where Jennifer came in and she kind of changed the trajectory and created a new drama with her wealth. And a lot of the ladies have a problem with how she talked about herself and how dismissive she was to other women, where there are some fans that really love Jennifer. So are you all going to be missing Jennifer Aydin? Clock that tea. Put it in the comments and write to me. Do what you gotta do. Now, another rumor on the street is that Drita from Mob Wives is going to be on The Real Housewives of New Jersey. Yep, there's a lot of rumors circulating around Drita. Now, let's take a listen to see how Drita is doing on The House of Villains, which is currently premiering on Peacock. Take a listen.
A tour of that house. What was the best and worst part of living there while also competing?
The stairs, when you have to go up and down.
Yeah, those stairs.
I mean, what is that?
Yeah.
I was like, this is wrong.
I would pack a bag, like a granola bar,
well,
water.
how about wearing
downstairs.
heels to go up and down? Okay.
Or cram into a closet.
Yeah, no.
And the lack of doors.
The lack of doors.
Oh, did the bedrooms not have doors?
No.
Oh, I didn't.
That was annoying.
Yeah,
because you wanted to slam sometimes.
There were places
you don't
to hide,
have privacy. I lived in the closet.
Yeah.
I never thought in all my life that I'd live in a closet. And I found myself in a closet going, I'm so happy here.
Yeah, but your closet that you were in was still bigger than most of the cabins I lived in.
That's so true.
I mean,
you've been in some
she's
small,
used to
tight
things like
spaces with annoying people.
Only when I got arrested.
Right.
Jail, that's what it was like. And I don't like it. Jail. Don't ever
For
go
the
to jail.
record,
Where's
just
the
so we're
camera?
all
Everybody
clear.
stay clear of jail.
Jail. Okay, Drita. Drita brings the heat. I remember her on Mob Wives, and she would keep her foot in everybody's neck. Drita's also one who's not afraid to raise that voice and throw hands if need be. Now, with her being on the House of Villains, I do think this is Peacock's way of bringing her back into the NBC Universal world, while also giving us a reminder of the nostalgia of what it was like to witness that kind of reality television. Reality television equals Mob Wives. Mob Wives was reality television. It was so fun to watch. It was so chaotic. Rest in peace, Big Ange. It was just one of those shows that really captivated a different viewership outside of the Real Housewives franchise and all the other reality shows that started kind of around the same time. And Mob Wives is one of those shows where you can look back and be like, how are they even able to like talk about some of this stuff on camera? So I'm excited, and I'm hoping that this rumor is true about Drita heading over to the Real Housewives of New Jersey. I think Drita can give Teresa a run for her money in terms of big personality. I also think there's opportunity to be in the mix because she's also friends with Danielle Cabral, I believe, who was married to Nate on the show. And I like their fresh energy too. It would be interesting to see if she would be the only newbie they bring on. Another rumor of what I'm hearing about the Real Housewives of New Jersey is that Margaret is in talks to come back, along with, I believe it was, who's Margaret's friend? Jennifer Fessler is going to make some kind of appearance, apparently, as well as, obviously, Melissa and Teresa and Dolores. Those are the three main people that they're really trying to focus on in terms of bringing fresh energy to the show. Maybe they'll pack the show with new housewives, maybe not. Who knows? But I do think Drita would be a good addition to the show. And it would just be a new way to bring in fans to watch other reality television shows or who watch shows like House of Villains that typically don't watch shows like The Real Housewives of New Jersey. So you can take it for what it is. Bravo, Peacock. You can write me if y'all want to. Look, hire me in production. Do what you got to do. But that's just the tea on that. Well, I hope this tea was piping hot for you. We didn't serve anything too fresh, but stay tuned because we're going to keep clocking in and giving you more tea as the seasons go on. But most importantly, as we have a lot of premiere dates coming up soon in the Bravoverse. So stay tuned to Clock the Reality. This is Mark Midwestern Honey, and I'm your host. I bring it to you fresh every single week. And don't forget, this is where you get your tea. Take care.